I'm Julie Campion and I am the clinical lead for Veterans NHS Wales in Hywel Dda University Health Board. In October this year, Veterans NHS Wales in Hywel Dda will be 10 years old. Rather than telling you about the work that we've been undertaking for the last decade, I thought it might be more appropriate to hear the voices of the veterans from across Ceredigion, Carmarthenshire and Pembrokeshire, who we have been most privileged to help. And so to share the work that we've been doing, I'm really pleased to introduce Don and to have opportunity to talk to him about his experience. So Don, tell us a little bit about yourself and your military service.
Yeah, hello, hi, my name is Don Bear, and I was previously, in 1989 I joined the military police, and I served just short of 12 years, went to many different places, including Sierra Leone, Albania, the Gulf, the first Gulf War. I then left in 2001 and I joined the South Wales Police. I spent most of my time working in Swansea, but the last 3 years I've been working in Neath.
Don, tell us what life was like for you before you came to our service.
Okay, so I was always aware of, when I left the service, because I was always, and now I know this part of having PTSD, that you're always ill all the time. And I saw posters up everywhere in the surgeries and stuff like that. I was going through a particularly bad time, and my father died, and I was off sick. I was then referred via the doctor and mental health to the service, NHS Wales, but I had seen the fact there was a service on the posters and stuff previously before attending, but it seemed to take something in my life for me to then take the step to get the help.
And Don, what was it like coming to therapy? Okay,
so the truth of the matter is I was absolutely terrified. The good thing for me is that it was a little way away, and that I travelled down there. I remember the first session I was absolutely terrified. I remember going to the session and having to go through everything in my life from when I was a child all the way through, and that was one of the sessions. But I remember the first session, I just couldn't wait to get out of there, to be honest, and I remember walking to the car thinking, don't run, and driving away. I was glad to get it over with, but yeah, I was terrified for the first session.
And what did you learn in therapy?
Well, the fact is that at no time was I made to feel uncomfortable or anything like that, and Julie was great, and you don't get judged on anything. You know, you talk about everything that's happened through your life, and for me, I'd never tried the talking therapies before. I'd always taken the medication and told that I was depressed, and that's what was wrong with me. And it was such a surprise to find out there actually was something wrong with me. I was, dare I say it, I was quite pleased about that in a way, but also the fact that Julie told me that we could make it better, and perhaps not cure it, but make it better, and then sort of session by session, you go away from each session and you're happy, and you can't wait for the next week, because you can physically see the results, and it's like waking up. You notice things like things I would notice were smells, sounds, music. It's like waking up, basically. And for me, the therapy, I'd never tried that before, and I'm glad I give it a go, to be honest.
You mentioned that sometimes therapy, the sessions were hard. What kept you coming despite the challenges?
To see that, well, I mean, I talked about things I'd never ever talked about. I talked about things that have happened in my childhood. I haven't thought about things like that since I was there, I suppose. The thing that kept me going was I could see results, small results. I went through even worse times, but I still could see that there was some change, you know. I suppose it's like on a golf course when you have one good shot and about 100 bad ones, and you think that's what keeps you coming back, isn't it? It's you want that one perfect sort of feeling, I suppose. You know, and I, you know, I started enjoying it, and then I started where I was terrified. I realised it was working, and now I look back and I thank goodness I did it, and thank goodness I went through it, because I really needed to push myself. And once I'd done that, as I said, I look back now and it was absolutely fantastic, to be honest.
And Don, during your treatment, we had a global pandemic. So what impact did that have?
So I actually enjoyed the one-on-one with Julie, and she would go through diagrams and explain things to me, and explain why you feel certain things, and the fact that it was right to feel certain things, and why you felt all these negative things. And so I enjoyed the one-to-one, but when the pandemic happened, we couldn't see each other. And I remember I got the COVID, and even when I had the COVID, and I still, believe it or not, was walking the dog, Julie would phone me and we would speak. It wasn't as good as the face-to-face, but I looked forward to it. And then we moved on to the walk and talk, which again was brilliant. That was just as good as being in the sort of office setting. But yeah, it evolved from indoors to outdoors. But yeah, it was very good. You know, nice to have the support, especially through the COVID pandemic.
And can you say a little bit more about what walk and talk looks like? Okay,
so we would meet anywhere. We'd meet. We went to a few places, and then we would just meet up and introduce each other. Say, you know, have you been near anybody with COVID? That sort of thing. The usual things, and then we would just walk and just summarise what has happened over since we've last talked, and then whatever subject we were on at that point, whatever part of my life, I suppose, we were talking about, we would just continue with that. But yeah, it was good. I still like the office setting, but the walk and talk was very good.
Don, what do you think were the most helpful parts of getting help from Veterans NHS Wales?
The most helpful? Okay, so the most helpful things for me were when I was shown, so the things you think, well, you know, the end of everything, and then you start talking about why you feel like that, and you break it down, and it's amazing to find out where those feelings come from, and for me, it explained an awful lot. I particularly enjoyed the diagrams drawn on the board, and so for me, I'm more of a reflector. So I would get the information and then sit and ponder about it at home, and for me, it all made sense. You know, when things were explained to me, and I could visually see them. It became clear then as why I felt certain ways at certain days, and that made me feel so much better, to be honest.
And Don, now your therapy is finished, what does life look like for you now?
Oh, well, to be truthful with you, I didn't really see a future. The last time I planned for anything in my life was when I was a child, you know, and now I'm stuck of what to look forward to, you know. I've got to think about what I've got to do the next few years. When you're not well, you can't think beyond that day, that 12 hours, that shift of work. You can't. By the time I get to the end of the day, all I want to do is collapse and hide, and you don't want to think about anything else. It's just a relief to get through that day, and that's literally how I survived, was day by day, and I can only say how I felt, but now I can think about things I'm going to do in the future. It just feels strange, you know. There's something new.
And Dawn, if there was a veteran who was contemplating whether they should get some help from Veterans NHS Wales, what would you say to them?
Okay, I can understand why people would be nervous or not wanting to do it. When I first did it, I felt like running away. But things are confidential, and you can talk about what you want, and I felt safe. It was a safe environment. I felt secure, and I think that anybody contemplating should give it a go, because I'd never tried talking therapies myself, and it was absolutely fantastic. A bit frightening to start with, but then I could visually see the results. You know, I'd be driving away. I could see things in the field. I could, you know, listening to music, I'd find myself humming and singing as things I don't do, you know. I could hear the birds. I remember, I know it sounds silly, but it even bothered me one year that we lost an hour, and the fact that it gets dark in the evenings, and there's so much more that I want to do with myself now. But now that I'm not hiding away, I would just say that you've nothing to lose, and to give it a go. I think the guys are great, yeah, I would say you've got to do it. You've got to give it a go, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I think they'll be pleasantly surprised, to be honest.
And Dawn, is there anything else you want to tell us about your experience with Veterans NHS Wales? Okay,
so yeah, I think, it sounds very official, and you see the posters and you think there's nothing wrong with you, and it takes some sort of life event for something to happen and for you to get that help. But I would say that to consider it when you think you need it, not wait until that time when you desperately need it. I would say, you know, if you're looking at the poster and you're thinking that maybe I need a little bit of help, then maybe that's what you need. You know, you seem to know yourself what you need. I thought about that every time I saw the posters and stuff like that, and people mentioned it and saw the cards, and I thought about it all the time, but I never took it up, you know. So for me, that was a waste of years not taking it up. I think I would have benefited from that.
What do you think is the best thing that you've gotten from coming to Veterans NHS Wales?
Oh, the best thing? I feel better about myself. I'm looking forward to the future. I enjoy being out and about and walking and stuff like that, rather than hiding in my room and hiding under my quilt. I just think the best thing is it just helps you, you know, just helps you not be the person I was, I suppose. And I can't put it in words, but you know, I'm completely different to the person that was hiding away in my room, and I'm frightened and not sleeping and having these dreams and stuff like that. I'm just a completely different person. I enjoy going out, walking with my dogs. Actually, when my wife says, let's go and do this, I'm not hiding away. Depends how difficult it is, I suppose. But it's, you know, it changes you, you know, and brings you out yourself, you know. And there's lots of best things. I could go on all day about the best things, but it's just a difficult thing for me is what before you have treatment is you don't see anything. Everything is black, everything is dark, and you don't think beyond the day, you know. You don't think beyond surviving your day. And for me, every day that I managed to work and get home and do everything I had to do and hide away, it was a success for me. But now I don't hide away. I enjoy some things.
So I would just like to thank Don for taking time to share his story with us. And if you're a veteran and you think that you might require our help, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. In fact, if you know someone who's a veteran and perhaps they are a little anxious about getting in touch themselves, perhaps you have a loved one that's a veteran that might benefit from our help, with their consent, you can contact us directly, and our contact details will be at the end of this short video. Thank you very much for taking time to listen to this story. Veterans NHS Wales looks forward to the next decade of helping more veterans very much in need of our support. Thank you.